And over here on the left side of the map, ESV Sanshorn Mist, we have a red Protoss player from Team Liquid. It is HerO. And a probe kind of ran out for a while and came back, but just there mining.
Rival probe.
Yes. I don't want to mine. I have something bigger in mind. Over on the right-hand side of the map, we have our blue Terran player from OGS. It is SuperNoVa.
Yep. And, you know, it's an interesting map choice by SuperNoVa. I think, you know, I feel like we're going to probably see another one-base type thing from him. It seems like that's kind of been what he's favoring. But, you know, conversely, he might be doing this to get HerO to think that, too. You know, HerO might be going, all right, you picked a small map, a small two-player map. Should I expect a 1-1-1 here or something? So he may have a little bit of metagaming going on here, too. You know, SuperNoVa trying to influence the expectations of his opponent on this game.
Yeah. Drop play is pretty effective here as well. There's a lot of space around the sides and the corners of the map. Of course, you guys can see bases down to the bottom right, top left-hand corner. Those are actually islands. So first map in a while we've seen, you know, effective islands put into play, although they really haven't come into the games quite yet.
Yeah, not many people use those, really. It's you know, it's a map where if those islands didn't exist, it'd be perfectly fine. You know, the map is laid out quite nicely where you can take a quicker third if you want to. So there's just not a big incentive to try to sneak an island base, you know?
And let's see here, is that probe? Did it actually catch the gas coming up? It has not. It's going to swing back in and see it, though. Nothing too out of the ordinary quite yet.
You know, another factor why islands just haven't been quite as good, too, is because the early games and the mid games of players right now at the pro level are so tight that there really isn't room, you know, to send out an extra air unit with a worker in it to do a base like that, as there was, you know, early on in the life of StarCraft 2. So if we're going to see players using islands in the future, it's going to need to be a map where islands are kind of a priority, you know, where you don't really have a choice. In Brood War, there actually were like island maps where it was just a bunch of islands. So it'd be cool to see something like that come back in StarCraft 2. I'd be interested to see how it would play out.
The other thing, you know, I kind of read that thread from the map makers on Team Liquid as well that were saying, you know, if you really, really want to start injecting new life into maps, you need to move over to 6 or 7 mineral patches and just 1 rich Vespian geyser per base. So that would just completely obliterate every strategy that's out there right now. But
it would change it quite a bit.
Oh yeah, it would.
True.
It would actually change the entire game. But I think it'd be fun to watch. We do have Factory coming up now, of course, for SuperNoVa, and I don't think, let's actually take a look, but no, that was not picked up on by HerO.
Well, you know, just to kind of talk a little bit more about that, I think that's great that map makers are trying that, because, you know, when Blizzard made StarCraft 2, they said, hey, we're just going to put 8 minerals and 2 gas on each base and see what happens. You know, I mean, that wasn't like the be-all, end-all, I think, in their minds either. They just wanted to try something out. So I think that's perfectly fine that map makers are changing some of the fundamental kind of standards of map making. And that's, you know, what needs to happen to evolve the game, too.
Yeah, well, we'll see if something like that ends up happening soon. We do have a second gas coming up for SuperNoVa now, so he is dedicating himself to strong 1 base pressure. He has his factory down built at the bottom, so he can easily go into Banshees. That kind of closes that air distance a little bit. 1 Hellion popping its way out for now, but of course will have time to put up a tech lab after that and eventually float it on if he so desires, or he just, of course, go into the medevac route.
Yeah. And he needs to move those Marines down to that low ground because he doesn't want HerO to see that he doesn't have a second base quite yet. And I don't know if it's going to be the force to do it.
No.
He's going to have to micro like crazy. And he does actually take out the Zealot. Very nice targeting there. And he even pushes back the Stalker. Wow. Very nicely done by SuperNoVa.
Couple of things, though. But of course, HerO sees no expansion over at the natural, but it could very well have been constructed
you could still be building it on
the
high ground.
Right, especially because he saw gas first, so we knew at the very least that there would be a couple of units out there. HerO going to continue to poke his way up, though, try and pick up a couple of Marines, but his target fire hasn't been the best, even with the initial Zealot Stalker push.
Well, yeah, for some reason, just not microing those terribly well. It's got 3 gates on the way here, and a Twilight Council. Oh, and the SCV sees it. Yes, I don't know if you saw it a little bit earlier here, but that is interesting. I wonder if he's just going to go ahead and... No, did he just put down a 4th gateway?
No, he did
What was that? Oh, just a pylon. Okay, so there's a Robo.
Yes.
Twilight Council and then Robo for HerO. very bizarre opening here from our Team Liquid Protoss player as well. Those Stalkers taking a lot of damage here too.
And not doing much in return.
No, not really.
1 kill apiece for them, so they've only taken down 2. I think he may have been forced into that, though. We'll find out. Once again, though, SuperNoVa building these Hellions on the low ground, and this time maybe a little bit more successful. Just 1 Stalker standing in the way. Yeah,
it certainly could do well. I like HerO's strategy, but, you know, will he take a lot of damage here and not be able to do it? Oh, the Hellions coming in. They're going to scout everything. They know exactly what HerO's going for now.
Yeah,
a bit of pro blocking, and the Hellions,
wow,
they do kill a couple.
Yeah, getting some pretty good kills here. Already up to 8, now 9. That plus the scouting, certainly worth it.
Yeah, not bad at all there for SuperNoVa. So HerO is going for a blink play. He's going to use an observer to blink up on the high ground. SuperNoVa is going to be more than prepared for this now. We might even see him put down another bunker, like kind of in the middle of his base here, just to stay ultra safe. But getting tanks out is going to help out quite a bit here too. You know, HerO wanted to get in there and surprise his opponent before he was ready, and I just don't think that's going to happen this time.
No, neither do I. So we'll see now what SuperNoVa does in response. Looks like he has that second barracks coming up now, so he is committing to an awfully large push. And did I say second? I sure meant third barracks, as a matter of fact. So this is a ton of units off of just 1 base.
Yeah, that actually is. That's 3 barracks, starport, and a factory. That's almost too much to maintain here. I think what we're going to see SuperNoVa do is just not use his starport, just make Marines and tanks at this point now that he has a medevac out. But it's going to be tricky. Here comes the Stalkers, and Probe dies, but it looks like he does have vision on the high ground. He's going to take down that bunker very, very quickly. Nice blink micro, getting everything away here.
But he's going to need a lot more than that, because this is an awfully powerful army. We also have combat shields coming up as well. 4 Marines being produced at a time. And we'll see here what he wants to end up doing after this. SuperNoVa is tied in workers, basically, so the supply difference is almost entirely in army value.
Yeah, he'll definitely need a few more Stalkers here. Trying to micro against that, but it's difficult to micro against the Marines. Looks like over time he is doing some damage, but again, just not quite enough.
Yeah.
Pretty decent supply lead right now for SuperNoVa, adding on siege mode as well. And once that finishes, it's going to be very, very difficult for HerO to break this.
Look at this, HerO actually taking a hidden expansion on the left-hand side. Doesn't want to take his natural, though.
Interesting. Okay, so yeah, kind of accepting that he can't really break SuperNoVa at this point, taking his expansion a little bit earlier. Normally that would be really late, but in this case, it's actually okay, because SuperNoVa hasn't expanded at all either. So HerO, strangely enough, is not behind.
Oh, wow. And actually, SuperNoVa moving down to catch those forces really nicely, but may have ended up moving just a second too early, as more Stalkers would have blinked up and he could have killed a couple more. But as it stands, he still puts a stop to this attack.
Well, what HerO really needs to worry about now is the prospect of SuperNoVa pushing out with this and trying to just attack. It's kind of what I think he should be worried about mostly. He's going to do a little bit of scouting with this Stalker, it looks like.
Yeah, it looks like he's building up his forces back at home as well. Sees just everything, and that's going to be a little bit frustrating. Looks like he will be able to blink back eventually once this cooldown is done. And
run, Stalker,
go! You had the opportunity.
Oh, he does kill some supply depots at the front, though.
Yeah, it looks like that's what he was more worried about there. Supply depot goes down, doesn't take any more losses, but his... and he did supply block his opponent. He's trying to go over to a Robo Bay, though, just sitting on these 3 gateways in addition.
Yeah, all those Stalkers, or most of them anyway, have taken some damage here, so he's going to be... Oh, wow, he stopped his Stalkers here.
Oh, sorry. Was watching the probe transfer back there, but he did stop. I just assumed he was going to keep running away. Yeah. And so, yeah, he is just wanting to delay as long as possible so we can get some units out there. He needs a Colossus so bad.
SuperNoVa's timing this out pretty nicely with Stim, so I think be kind of tough for HerO to stop. I like this warp in behind it, kind of cutting off reinforcements for a little bit, delaying. That's kind of the big point of what HerO is doing right now. He needs to delay for as long as possible. As it is at the moment, SuperNoVa would win a straight-up army-to-army fight. So HerO needs to do whatever he can to kind of slow his opponent down.
And looks like he is going to try and do just that. Now, of course, he does have economy over on the left-hand side of the map. The first Colossus is coming out, and it's being furiously chrono-boosted now, but will it come out in time?
I don't know. He's going to get such a nice siege up on the low ground there. He's going to take out some pylons, and ideally here, if he can supply block HerO, he does. that first Colossus is going to be the only one until there are more pylons on the way.
Or he just ends up losing a ton of
Well,
units, which
too,
he
I
is.
guess, yeah.
Well, SuperNoVa going to continue to pick off pylons now, and this is becoming increasingly dire for HerO. He's not even able to pick off one tank, and it's immediately repaired back up. First Colossus just hitting right now. We'll see if that can turn the tide, but I think SuperNoVa may just be rolling to victory here. There's the Guardian Shield. Bunch of siege tank shots going down. The Colossus has gotten one kill, but there are a couple of point defense drones up as well. They've completely neutralized the Stalkers, and it looks like HerO is just going to die.
That is that. So expect the GG any second here, guys. HerO's not making it out of this one, unfortunately. The score is going to be tied up. Probes coming off the line. Oh, the valiant Probes trying to save their base, but it's just too little too late here.
Yes,
70
it is.
supplied, 16, and that is it. GG.
GG.